What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Scarface is one of the greatest MCs ever. Anytime that he puts out an album, you stop and listen. He's just that important. And not for nothing, but Scarface shows that every album is going to be quality work. It's not just him putting out whatever he feels. No, he really takes time to craft music and have messages attached to them. His latest album is mainly a collection of songs that didn't make the cut for 2015's Deeply Rooted. I think it's a really good idea to do that. On this album, he has alternate versions of songs from Deeply Rooted. There's unreleased records that didn't make the original album, as well as a couple songs that do sound fairly recent. Honestly, The Lost Files hits that sweet spot where it's not too long and it's not too short. You have 10 songs, 38 minutes. That right there is a sweet spot. Having to pick a couple songs to highlight was a bit difficult because you want to highlight everything. Almost everything on this album is of value. There's a lot to talk about, but I did narrow it down to just two songs in my favorites list. The first is Black Steel. Scarface has an ability to sound both 90s and modern at the same time. Black Steel is one of those songs that can fit into any generation. That beat is not only so cold, but it's so fitting for the level of aggression that Scarface brings to this record. The intro is a small little sound clip that says, "The moment that is bound to shape the future." And then Scarface just goes off for 2 minutes. This is not a song. This is him really just spitting. There's no hook. It's not formatted like that. No, this is one long verse from Scarface. I feel like this might be one of the best verses of the year. Hands down, I would say politically it is. Scarface is saying so much in such a short amount of time. There's like no wasted bars on this entire song. He says, "Over tan, long nose, funny looking ass Donald. Got his nerve disrespecting President Obama. If you don't want us around, then let us leave. Pay the money you've been owing my people since they were set free." For me, it's just the overall package is amazing. I love that Scarface is able to match the intensity of like his voice with the words. Like it all like feels like a marriage. You know, everything is like in sync. My other favorite song is called One Day Closer. When you listen to this song, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to listen to this song and really visualize what he's saying. I think to me that is a true test of excellent storytelling. It's something that One Day Closer really achieves. Scarface isn't telling just one story though. These are multiple memories, I should say. It's not really like a story in a sense of like there's a beginning, middle, and end. These are more like short memories, but in the same sense, you can visualize what he's saying, from him having a conversation with his mom who is telling him to give up because rap is not going to pay the bills, to having to bury people that he went to high school with. I feel like Scarface is really good at being able to tell these songs that have emotion to him because he has such a distressed tone in his voice. It really helps to make the words just feel more powerful. My honorable mention is titled Same Old Same. I really just like this record because it's not as intense, but it's still a very serious song, and it has like a nice bounce in the beat. I really feel like the producers that worked on this album really captured Scarface's sound perfectly. I know N.O. Joe is featured on the album. He did Black Steel. I'm not sure who did Same Old Same, but it still falls in line with everything else. It doesn't sound out of place. My least favorite song on the album is called The Rebound. Now, when I put this song in my least favorite category, I wasn't doing so to say that it's whack or that it's a trash record, because it's not. But I'm not going to lie and kid and say that it's better than average when all it is average. A Scarface average song, though, is still a lot better than a lot of people's music in general. I feel like Scarface did a good job storytelling on the Rebound, but I feel like relationship type of stories are not necessarily what I go to Scarface for. He can definitely pull it off. I'm not saying that he can't. There's a record on Deeply Rooted, and there's also an alternative version on this album. It's titled Gone, and on the original it was Keep It Moving. Now that was a good relationship song, but I feel like this one in particular just doesn't hold up to the rest of the material on the album. Basically, you know what you want out of an artist, and for the most part, I don't really come to Scarface for like relationship stories. I could be wrong because I don't know every single Scarface song by heart, but it's not really something that is his his lane, his strong point. December 15th, 2017 might be more remembered for Eminem's revival. But popularity contest aside, Scarface's The Lost Files is one of the best quality releases on that day. And I tell you, there was a lot. G-Eazy, Boosie, Brockhampton, Starlito dropped 2 mixtapes / an album. It's kind of combined, whatever. But Scarface really ranks high on that day, and I would say in 2017 in general. This is not an album that's going to sound better than Deeply Rooted, but in many ways it acts as an album sampler. For those who might have missed Deeply Rooted in 2015, you get a taste of what was on that album with some of the alternative versions and some of the songs that didn't make the cut. So I hope that anybody listening to The Lost Files feels like going back and revisiting Deeply Rooted, because in 2015 it was one of my top 3 albums. This is pretty much like the dessert that I didn't know I wanted after the main course. I really also like this idea a lot, since rappers tend to over-record, as well as songs go through different changes. So I look at it like, if an artist like Scarface can put out an album like this and still it sounds presentable. Like, I know some instances there are songs that get finished and artists never want them to see the light of day because it's not something that reflects them. But for someone like Scarface, who records and has this quality work, I feel like it's a good idea. I would like to see more albums like this, like a follow-up type of thing. Here's what originally I was going for, but then I decided to switch it up, and that's why you have the other version. And these are some of the songs that were great, but they just didn't fit in context of the album. Like, I would love to see that more in hip-hop. Scarface is currently working on a joint project with DJ Quick, so hopefully we'll see more of that in 2018. I'm hoping that it's not another 2-year wait for more Scarface, because he is just amazing to me. So those are my thoughts on Scarface's Deeply Rooted, The Lost Files. Afterwards, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video, follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.